4 things people often mistake for love. 1, constantly obsessing over somebody and feeling incomplete when they're not around. 2, constantly sacrificing your needs for someone else. 3, that happy feeling you get when your unhealthy wounds and coping mechanisms are enabled by somebody. And 4, constantly trying to change your partner instead of loving them patiently as an imperfect person who's in their process. Let me know in the comments if you want a part 2 on what healthy love actually looks like.
Too many people mistake the binge and crash cycles of serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, all of these brain chemicals that fire off in your brain in the first 6 months of a relationship or the honeymoon phase. It's the same as when you're taking drugs, what it releases. And you're mistaking that for falling in and out of love, but that's not what that is. And if you're looking for your relationship to keep your brain on a constant high, you're not looking for love, you're looking for addiction.
You say to a man, I feel so safe whenever I'm around you. Just saying that to a guy makes him feel like Superman. But more specifically, it makes him feel like Superman with you. Not everyone makes him feel that way. So if he feels that powerful with you, he's going to be drawn to you.
All right, here's a weird psychological trick to help you get over that breakup. I get it. The flowers are dead, all the chocolates have been eaten, and it's time to get over that heartache from Valentine's Day. Well, so our brains are really unique because we only remember things that are associated with high emotion. Now, it could be good emotion, it could be negative emotion, doesn't really matter. It just will remember if we've had a lot of emotion associated with something. So relationships obviously generally have both. You know, you have good experiences that are high emotion, and then you have maybe negative experiences that are high emotion as well. So your brain tends to remember all these things. And getting over that can be very difficult. Now, here is a trick that you can use to help you get over that person very quickly. And that is to do something in a creative manner that's going to give you something that you want. So maybe you play music, maybe you write poetry, maybe you work good, maybe you're a day trader. Doesn't matter what you do, just get into work and focus on something that you want while you're working. Good luck.
Listen up. If you want to know what your relationship is made of and you don't want to become another divorce statistic, ask yourself, if all the other person could give you was their time, would you still give them yours? Stop lying. You don't want closure. You want it to end on your terms. You want a reason why you weren't good enough. You've given them the keys to your self-worth, even though it has nothing to do with their actions, and that's why you can't move on.
All right, what healthy love actually looks like. 1, it looks like being happy and fulfilled within yourself and supporting your partner in the same, rather than expecting the other person to be the one who makes you happy. 2, it looks like seeing the other person for who they are right now in the moment, rather than comparing them to who you want them to be or an idea you have in your head. 3, it looks like creating a safe space for both of you to heal and grow together, rather than trying to fix everything. 4, it looks like seeing conflict and triggers as an opportunity to learn about the other person and practice patience, curiosity, and empathy. And 5, it looks like speaking your needs freely and listening when the other person speaks their needs. Love is about being seen and heard and seeing and hearing the other person.
Does everyone just want the next best thing? You know, everybody gets ghosted all the time and or is doing the ghosting, you know?
Yes, it's easier to reject people because we don't necessarily have to do it in person. But even then, like, people talk about ghosting, like, oh, why is ghosting such a thing these days? When was ghosting not a thing? When was, like, we literally can watch movies from the 50s where the woman sees the guy and she's like, sees him in the street and she's like, why didn't you call?
Right.
That's ghosting.
I guess we just couldn't watch them on social media also living out their best life on top of the fact they're getting ghosted, so it hurts more.
You could pretend to yourself they died.
I hope they died.
And are literally ghosting. That's where it started. You hoped that they died. You called them a ghost.
Right. They were a literal ghost.
Tips for a long-lasting relationship? Why, yes, indeed. Not only have I been with my husband for 14 years, but we haven't had a fight in 5. So first of all, understand how to not turn little things into big fights, which means you have to know how to manage your thoughts and your emotions and also your impulse. You know that impulse to say the stuff that comes to your head without really thinking about it first? Yeah, I used to have that one too. So in order to do that, you must start meditating because it's going to reduce your anxiety, stress, and fear. You know those emotions that you kind of vomit on your partner whenever they get overwhelming? Deal with that shit, my love. Go to my YouTube channel, find my Let's Meditate playlist, and start plugging in with headphones. I got great tracks on there that are gonna help your brain. Next, understand gender differences so you don't get pissed off at normal stuff. Be sure you read Fix That Shit so you know how to resolve conflict too. Boop.
Things not to say to your wife after she gives birth to your little baby. Why are you still wearing your maternity clothes? She doesn't cry like that when I do it. So are we still eating whatever we want, or?
Let's have a conversation y'all aren't ready to hear yet. There is a huge difference between saying I love you and I like you. A lot of people in relationships like to rush to say I love you and then get mad when their partner doesn't want to say it back yet. But what they're not realizing is me saying I like you can be way more flattering than me saying I love you. Because I can love you and not like you. You know how many family members you have that you love but you don't like? Just because I love you doesn't mean I like to spend time with you. But if I say I like you, that means I actually like you and like spending time with you. So if anything, you should be more flattered that I'm actually telling you that I like you instead of just rushing to say I love you and not meaning it. Being able to say I love you to your partner takes time. We have to have gone through some things so that I know we have resilience in our relationship to last. So me saying I like you means we are on a good track to seeing if I actually love you. So with that being said, please stop being so pressed about saying I love you. Thank you for your time.
The second way to compliment a guy is to talk about his hidden traits. Let's say a guy is good at the guitar. He's probably been complimented on that an awful lot. So when he goes and plays, everyone comes up to him and says, "Oh my God, you're so good, you're amazing at that." It loses its meaning after a while. So now when you compliment the guy on that thing, you're just like everybody else. But if you can compliment the trait that made him good at the guitar in the first place, he will be much more sentimental about that. So if it's just the discipline to keep playing every single day, even when it was hard to get to that point, that's something he's more likely to have meaning for than just being good at the guitar.